In this video, we're going to do an introduction into direct supplier purchase orders. We're going to go and create a purchase order. We're going to email those purchase orders, which is a new feature to Smart Retail, and we're going to receive those orders to stock. So first up, we'll go into the menu and search for Manage Purchase Orders. It's under the Stock Management menu. Once it opens, you'll see a listing of all of your in-progress orders that haven't been processed yet. To create a new one, we click New. We can search for the supplier using their name or their code. You can enter a comment and a delivery date when you expect this order to be delivered to your store. So we'll click Save to continue. And then what you'll see is the order edit screen. So here you can search for products to add to the order. You can have a look at the order tab that shows what's in the order. As you can see, it's a new order, so it'll be blank. And we also have the order details screen where you can adjust the descriptions and the delivery date if required. So this is just our smart grid. So we've got our full search and sorting options here. If I just choose that supplier to add something to the order, I can just double click on it and add an order quantity. So we'll just go and add a few products. Add 2 for this one. We can also add an inactive item to the order. So it's just the same, double click on it, but now the active flag is available. So when you activate it, this will automatically then flag it for a label and send it to the POS next time adds and replaces are sent. So with those products now added to the order, we'll click on our order tab and that will show you what we've got in our order. Remember, anything in white we can edit. So if we want to adjust the quantities, we can, and they'll change to green. When you're ready to save it, hit save. And if you scroll down, you can see the total number of cartons and the total cost of the order. Now, when you're finished editing, you can just close the order, because remember, it's already saved, and you can see there's the open order now. So to edit, you can just double click, or you can just hit the pencil icon, and that will take you back inside the order where you can start adding more products. If you try to add a product that doesn't belong to that supplier or doesn't have a supplier item for that supplier, you will be prompted to create that information. If it's a direct, you normally have the vendor as the same as the supplier. And if you know the cost of the item and the RRP, you can enter that here. It's not required, so you can leave it as 0. Once you save that new supplier item, you can then enter how many you want to order. So you can keep adding products to the order or keep reviewing the order and adjusting the quantities, but when you're finished, just close the order. So now the order is created and it's open, we need to send it to the supplier. So in the actions columns, you'll see an envelope. This allows you to email the order directly to the supplier. Here, the standard email options are provided. You can edit the to address, the subject information. You can choose any number of different report types, how the actual email looks to the supplier and what format. So if we just do a preview and press OK, you'll actually see all of the items that are in the order. So with the preview generated, we can choose to have a look at what the report might look like. So how the supplier will see the email, and from here you can print it to the printer if you need to, send it to somebody directly via email that might not be the supplier, and so on. But if we close the preview of the report and take the preview tick out, what will happen now is it will email that order directly to the to address. If you do need to adjust the email address of the supplier, if you open up supplier maintenance and search for your supplier, you can actually see the email address that's being used there and the report format that will be used to send to that supplier. So we're happy with our supplier email address and the report format that we want to use. So if we take the preview tick out now, it'll actually send the email to the supplier. So the order's been sent, so we'll just close this now. And as you can see, the order status has changed to sent. You might also have multiple purchase orders for a supplier to send. You can do that as well. Here I'll search for my suppliers that I want to send. I can highlight both of the orders, right click and choose send or email orders. Email 2 purchase orders, yes. So now that will automatically now send those 2 orders to that supplier as 2 separate emails. Now you're not restricted to only selecting orders from the same supplier. You can, for example, select all unsent orders from multiple suppliers and choose to email them. So if you hold down the left mouse button, you'll get a selection column. Here you can select the orders that you want to email. And when you right click on the order, it will try to send all of those orders via email. Now, depending on whether or not all your suppliers are configured with email, you might get this option. This means that those orders won't be sent because there's no supplier or email address for that supplier. So we'll take Coca-Cola out, right click our 2 that we do want to send and hit email. So now fast forward a couple of days, the stock has arrived with the invoice. Now we want to receive the orders to stock. So to do that, we go into our menu, we search for order receipts, and here we can receive the orders to stock. So to start, we choose the order we want to receive to stock. We just double click on it, and that will open up the order similar to the way we were when we were creating the purchase order. But now in the order details screen, we actually see the invoice information for that order. So we'll enter that now. Typically, you'll find this on the paper invoice. And we can adjust the delivery date for which we actually got the stock. So now with our order header saved, we need to match the order bin or the order details with the actual invoice. So by default, unedited, Smart Retail will assume that you've received everything you've ordered if you haven't entered a received quantity. But you can, in the editable fields, enter in the quantity and the number of cartons that you did receive for each item. If you didn't receive an item, you would put in a 0, and you also need to enter the invoice cost into the receive cost field. When you're finished, you hit save, and that will save the order bin with the receive information. Before we receive the invoice to stock, we need to validate that the information in the order matches the invoice information. So here you can see there's a variance between what was actually invoiced in the invoice header and the sum of the order bin. So for this purpose, I'll just make the invoice amount match, but in a real lot scenario, you'll need to modify the quantities and the costs and maybe add extra items to the order to make the order bin match. So we're finished editing, we'll hit save, we've got no variance, so now we can receive the order to stock. So we click the receive button, and when we get our options, we hit save, and that will actually receive the order to stock, updating the purchase history and updating your quantity on hand. After the order bin has been received, it opens up in edit. It stays open in edit mode, but you can see it's removed from the list. In Smart Retail, if you ever want to get back to some of your old invoices, you can just choose the reset filter, and you can see there's my invoice as closed. And the only option I've got is to go back into edit mode, but in a read-only manner, so no changes can be made.